because of course your ex-girlfriend will want you to, not get a new partner for the next 5 years while she finds somebody that she can, you know, post up and tout up as better than you while you mope around at your house being sad. So do rebounds ever truly work? Depends on what you mean by work. Rebounds are generally designed to shift your emotions from one partner to the new partner. So if there's a breakup, let's say, she's just shifting the emotions because when I say emotions, it's the oxytocin. That sense of loss is like the oxytocin source was associated with that partner. So, boyfriend, she's receiving that oxytocin stimulus from that boyfriend. That's the association she's made. When she's going to break up, that even though she wants to break up and all this, having that guy not there for her will bring up a deficit in oxytocin for her, which will be painful. Oxytocin is one of the most addicting chemicals. So to ease that pain, she'll want to transfer that oxytocin into something else so that it's not like, it's almost like taking that, methadone or something, right? To get off of a harder drug. It's like, I'm going to take something lesser to ease off of the oxytocin that I got from my previous partner. And that's what the rebound essentially is. Does it work? Well, yeah, sure. It does do that. It does work in terms of helps her get rid of the emotions for the old partner. But it only works for that. It doesn't work for her setting herself up for long-term success, usually. And it usually hinders personal growth. Okay. So that's the problem with that. There's benefit in actually not being a gigantic, I was going to use a derogatory term for vagina in my stream here to call you that, you guys that, but to being a weakling, we'll say, just feel the pain. Like you guys who have to rebound, just be in pain. It doesn't mean, not by some girl standards, by the way, because I've had exes who are stupid and they really just don't want me to bang other people. So they're like, you need to take longer. Like, I don't need to do anything by anybody else's standards. But, because of course your ex-girlfriend will want you to, not get a new partner for the next 5 years while she finds somebody that she can, post up and tout up as better than you while you mope around at your house being sad. So, yeah, we're not saying go by those standards, but by your own personal standards, you do want to take some time to grieve a relationship before jumping back into things as a man. And that's a sort of another topic, but short answer, the reason why is because you're going to have maladaptive patterns when you go back out to seek a new partner, even if it's just short term, because you're trying to get rid of the pain of the old breakup. And so that's going to create patterns of behavior that aren't necessarily good, which is going to attract certain women to you. And then you won't break that pattern before you end up in another relationship. So you've effectively become a less healthy person to meet up with women who are also now going to mirror your level of mental and emotional stability and health. So she's going to be less healthy too, probably. And then you'll end up in a relationship with that person. So then you effectively won't level up. The idea, if you end up in a breakup, is that you never go back to the old standard. Whatever happened to create a breakup, you want to make yourself better and make sure you make better choices in new partners so that the new relationship that you decide to get into ends up being better than the old one. So you don't go through the pain and heartache that you went through with the previous one in those breakups. That's the idea. Most people don't do that though. They say they're leveling up, but they're really not. And the reason why is because they don't fix anything about themselves and they get out there too early when their emotions are still raw from the old thing. And they get into relationships with people based off of those bad patterns. You know what I mean? And then they don't exactly, they end up picking someone who's not as good of a match, and they end up bringing bad patterns of behavior into the relationship. So they actually don't level up. They either stay the same or even go down a little with the next person. So if you want to actually level up, don't do a rebound. I say a rebound. I mean, what amount of time is enough time? It doesn't have to be a year. It doesn't have to be a 6 months. Does that make sure you're safe? Sure, but you don't need to be safe. You just have to know. I mean, some people, for example, were in a breakup for 6 months. Like they knew they were mentally preparing for a breakup for 6 months. And then it finally ends. And it's like, yeah, I knew this was going that way. And I had already broken up and processed a lot of emotions over the last 6 months. So by the time that breakup happens, they're emotionally ready in a few weeks to a month, right? Because they've been doing this breakup for so long, essentially, right? So that could happen, right? For somebody. But let's say if it's an abrupt surprise, we're broken up, like you thought it was going to last and you weren't mentally prepared, and then boom, a breakup happens, you're probably not good in a few weeks. You probably need a few months. How much time? It's not about time. It's about how well you process things. And this is why guys buy my mindset course, for example. I have a whole section in the mindset course I'm processing through a breakup. And so that'll get you back to mental stability and healthiness very quickly, 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the severity of the breakup. You'll be able to date again without any of the problems, like emotional ties that are weighing you down from the previous relationship. It's not about the other person or treating the other person like trash or anything. It's just about that relationship being over and you being able to quickly grieve it and have a place in your mind and your emotional state of emotional acceptance over the lost relationship. Boom, and being able to move on. Some guys, year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, especially these guys who got into BPD situations, like they're still hung up on previous partners. Some of you guys listening right now are hung up on somebody from 6 months, a year ago, whatever. Shouldn't take you longer than 2 months. I'm serious. If it takes you longer than 2 months, there's things that you need to be able to do differently to process. Now, I don't mean just time and, thinking about it. I mean, actual things to recondition you neurologically at a neurological level so that you can have a place of acceptance in your mind and in your emotions from that breakup. And then you're out there a lot faster. But if some chick is breaking up with you and then with a new guy a week or two later, it's a rebound. Probably the same if that happens to you. You know what I mean? And hey, rebound sex is just sex, but being in a relationship is probably not a good idea.